Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going kind of behind the scenes
Oh, behind the scenes.
at Urban Value Corner Store.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
um, those just really friendly neighborhood spots.
Hmm.
And we're not talking like balance sheets or marketing slogans or anything like that.
Hmm.
We're really trying to get to the heart
Yeah.
of this company,
The people.
and that's their employees.
Yeah. It's so interesting, to see how companies kind of translate their values
Well-
into actual real world experiences for their employees.
Right.
And we've got some employee spotlights right from the Urban Value Corner Store website.
Okay.
So I think by diving into these, we can really kind of get a better feel for the company culture.
Exactly. So their mission statement is to enhance the living experience of our residents, one transaction at a time.
Okay.
But do their employees really feel that way?
Right.
Let's meet Regan Manley,
Okay.
who climbed the ladder from assistant manager to regional operations manager in just 4 years.
Wow. That's quite a trajectory. Yeah.
That definitely suggests that they're really committed to promoting from within,
Mm-hmm.
which I think speaks volumes about, their approach to talent development.
Reagan actually mentions his passion for helping people.
Okay.
He's quoted as saying, "I have found that my passion in life is to help other people enjoy their own lives to the fullest, whether it be my fellow employees or my customers."
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a perfect match
Yeah.
for Urban Value Corner Store's mission, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Yeah. That alignment between personal values and company mission is often, I think, a key ingredient in
Yeah.
job satisfaction.
Yeah.
It's not just about the tasks.
Right.
It's about feeling like your work contributes to something meaningful.
And he even specifically mentions enjoying those moments where he can help someone in a pinch.
Yeah.
Grabbing that last ingredient for dinner or a bag of dog food.
Mm-hmm. Interesting how he finds that kind of fulfillment in those everyday interactions.
Yeah.
It really highlights the impact of, convenience retail, especially in a big city setting.
Speaking of impact, though, Reagan also talks about the value of employee input at Urban Value Corner Store.
Now, I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
A lot of companies claim to be open to feedback,
Right.
but do they actually walk the walk? What do you think?
Yeah. It's certainly a claim that we should examine closer as we kind of delve deeper
Okay.
into these spotlights. Let's see if this sentiment is echoed by other employees.
All right. Next up is Hector Torres,
Okay.
a fascinating case. He's been with Urban Value Corner Store
Wow.
since practically the beginning.
Really?
He was their second hire.
Wow, that kind of longevity is impressive.
Yeah.
It definitely suggests that he's found something special there. So
Yeah.
what's his story?
Well, he was initially hired for a different role,
Okay.
but ended up taking the initiative to contribute in a more tech-focused capacity.
Interesting.
So it sounds like he saw a need and stepped up to fill it.
Yeah, that's the kind of proactive problem solving
Mhm.
that can really benefit a growing company. It suggests a workplace where employees feel empowered to contribute beyond just, their defined roles.
Right.
I wonder if this connects at all to Urban Value Corner Store's use of technology in its operations.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I know some retailers have really embraced technology to streamline things,
Mm-hmm.
like inventory management and customer relationships.
Yeah.
Do you think that's playing a role here?
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
Maybe Hector, saw an opportunity to kind of leverage technology to improve things for
Mm.
both employees and customers.
Right.
It would be interesting to see how they're using technology to kind of enhance that
Yeah.
small town feel that they're going for.
Hector also talks about how much he values being listened to by the management team.
Go.
He says, "Working with a team that will listen and value my ideas is important to me. I really feel I am contributing to the growth of this company."
Mm-hmm.
Seems like that feeling of being heard might be part of what's kept him there for so long.
It definitely reinforces that idea of employee input being valued,
Right.
which Reagan mentioned as well.
Uh-huh.
So let's keep an ear out for that as we dive into the next employee spotlight.
Okay.
Speaking of which, who's next on our list?
Our last spotlight for this part of the deep dive is on Richard Bell,
Okay.
who comes highly recommended.
Right.
It seems like someone within the company knew his talents
Oh, wow.
and made sure Urban Value Corner Store snatched him up.
That's the power of employee referrals.
Yeah,
I mean, that speaks to the confidence that employees have in the company's culture.
right?
They wouldn't recommend someone that they cared about
Right.
to a workplace they didn't believe in.
And his area of expertise is training and development.
Okay.
Seems like he's passionate about helping other employees learn and grow within the company.
That's a really positive sign. It suggests that they're dedicated to investing in their employees' professional development, not just filling positions.
Right.
It also makes you wonder what kind of training programs they offer. Are they focused on, traditional retail skills, or are they branching out into more specialized areas, perhaps related to, technology or leadership development?
That's something I hadn't even considered. It's a great question.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get some clues as we learn more about Richard.
definitely. I'm eager to hear what he has to say.
Well, Richard talks about how the
Yeah.
smaller,
Okay.
more intimate nature of the stores helps them build strong relationships
Right.
with their customers. You know that small town vibe we've been talking about?
Yeah.
He also mentions that he appreciates the company's high standards and accountability,
Uh-huh.
seeing it as a positive force that encourages everyone to strive for excellence.
That's an interesting perspective. It sounds like accountability is framed as a shared responsibility rather than a top-down pressure.
Right?
I wonder how they cultivate that sense of ownership and collective striving.
Yeah. Seems like there's a lot more to uncover here.
Yeah.
So far, we've met 3 very different employees, but they all seem to share this genuine passion for helping residents and contributing to the company's success.
It's definitely intriguing. So far, we've heard about employee input, growth opportunities, and this small town feel.
Right.
Let's see if these themes continue as we dive deeper into the next round of employee spotlights. These employee spotlights, they're giving us more than just individual stories, They're
Right.
kind of offering a glimpse into how Urban Value Corner Store is approaching the changing landscape of retail.
Right. So we've heard their personal experiences,
Mm-hmm.
but how does this connect to the bigger picture?
Right.
What's the takeaway for our listeners,
Yeah.
even if they don't work in retail?
Well, for one, I think Urban Value Corner Store is really challenging that perception of retail jobs as being simply, temporary or transitional. They're creating a space for career growth development and a genuine sense of purpose.
I see what you mean. Instead of just filling positions,
Right.
they're investing in their employees' long-term potential.
Exactly. And that's something that really resonates, I think, with the changing expectations of today's workforce.
Right.
People want more than just a paycheck. They're seeking out companies with strong values and opportunities to contribute meaningfully.
It's interesting how they're fostering that small town feel in a big city environment.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how they translate that into a practical approach.
That's a good question. Perhaps it's about empowering employees to make decisions that benefit their local customer base.
Right.
Or maybe it's about creating opportunities for employees to build those relationships with regular customer.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just about being friendly.
Right.
It's about creating a sense of community and personalized service.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's not forget about the technology piece we were discussing earlier.
Right.
Hector's involvement suggests they're leveraging technology in some pretty interesting ways.
We haven't delved into the specifics yet, but it's clear they're not shying away from, technological advancements.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're using tools like, advanced inventory management systems or customer relationship management software
Right.
to kind of enhance the customer experience.
That makes me think about the potential impact on employee satisfaction. If they're using technology to streamline tasks
Right.
and provide employees with real-time information, that could free up time for more meaningful interactions with customers.
That's a great point. It could also mean less time spent on those mundane tasks
Right.
and more opportunities for employees to focus on things like problem solving, customer service, or even, developing new skills.
So if we put all these pieces together, it seems like Urban Value Corner Store is creating a win-win situation.
Yeah.
They're investing in their employees,
Right.
leveraging technology to improve efficiency, and ultimately enhancing the customer experience.
It's a strategy that appears to be working for them,
Right.
They're attracting and retaining talent, fostering a positive work environment,
Right.
and really differentiating themselves in this competitive retail landscape.
Okay, so we've touched on the employee experiences and how they kind of connect to broader trends.
Right.
But I'm still curious about the how, what are the specific strategies and tactics
Right.
Urban Value Corner Store is using to cultivate this impressive company culture?
That's the question we need to answer next. Luckily, these employee spotlights have given us some valuable clues.
Okay, so it's time to crack the code,
Yeah.
on how Urban Value Corner Store built its remarkable company culture.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some clues scattered throughout these employee spotlights, little nuggets that reveal their approach.
It's not just about feel-good stories.
Right.
It's about, tangible practices, that
Yeah.
they've actually implemented.
So remember Reagan's emphasis on employee input.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Right. He talked about how much he valued it
Mm-hmm.
and how Urban Value Corner Store actively encourages it.
Right.
But what does that actually look like in practice?
It could take many forms,
Yeah.
Maybe they have regular team meetings where
Mhm.
everyone's encouraged to share ideas.
Right.
Or perhaps they have a more, formal system for submitting suggestions or feedback. It's really about creating a culture where people feel comfortable speaking up,
Right.
even if their ideas are outside the box.
But it can't just be about collecting feedback.
Right.
They have to actually act on it.
Absolutely.
Right.
If employees feel like their voices aren't being heard,
Yeah.
it can lead to disengagement and frustration.
Yeah.
Urban Value Corner Store success suggests that they're not just listening, but also implementing changes based on that employee input.
And that ties into the theme of growth and development,
Yeah.
which came up in several spotlights.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan's rapid career progression, Hector taking on that tech leadership role,
Right.
and Richard's passion for training.
Yeah. It all points to a culture of continuous learning.
Right. It seems like they've created an environment where employees are encouraged to expand their skill sets and take on new challenges.
And that's beneficial for both the individual and the company.
I see what you mean. It creates a more versatile workforce
Right.
ready to adapt to the changing demands
Yeah.
of the retail industry.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it also helps with employee retention. When people feel like they're learning and growing, they're more likely to stay with the company.
Another recurring theme was this sense of recognition and appreciation.
Yeah.
The way these employees spoke about their work and their colleagues, it's clear they feel valued.
That's a critical component of a positive work culture.
Right.
It doesn't have to be about, grand gestures or elaborate reward systems.
Right.
Sometimes it's the small things that make the biggest difference.
like what?
Like a simple thank you,
Okay.
a public acknowledgement of a job well done, or even just taking the time to ask an employee about their day
Right.
and really listen to their response.
Yeah.
It's about creating a space where people feel seen and appreciated for their contributions.
And that brings us back to that small town feel they're cultivating.
Right.
It's not just about friendly customer service.
Yeah.
It's about creating that same sense of community and connection among their employees.
It's about fostering that sense of belonging, where people feel comfortable collaborating, supporting each other, and celebrating each other's successes.
So if we distill all of this down,
Yeah.
it seems like building a strong company culture isn't about magic.
Right.
It's about deliberate actions,
Uh-huh.
consistent practices, a genuine commitment to valuing people.
Well said. It's about creating an environment where people feel empowered to learn, grow, contribute, and be their best selves. And when you get that right, everything else tends to fall into place.
Yeah.
Customer satisfaction, business success, a positive impact on the community.
It's inspiring to see a company putting these principles into practice.
Absolutely.
And it's a reminder that regardless of the industry or the size of the company, building a positive culture is an investment worth making.
Couldn't agree more. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Urban Value Corner Store, we'll leave you with this. What small, deliberate actions can you take today to create a more positive and empowering culture in your own sphere of influence?
Right.
Remember, even the smallest interactions can have a ripple effect.